Hello students, welcome to AIMS India online classes. This is a chemistry session. Here we are discussing about the chapter periodic classification. In this session, we are going to see about trending of atomic properties in the groups and periods of modern periodic table. In the earlier sessions, we have seen about earlier attempts for the classification of elements and the modern periodic table and its main features and common names given to the groups and periods in the modern periodic table. Now, here we are going to start to learn about trending of atomic properties in the groups and periods. Now, in this session, we are going to see about atomic size. The trending of atomic size in the modern periodic table, we are going to see here. What is atomic size, how it is measured, and how it varies in the groups and periods of the periodic table. These points we are going to see here now. Okay. Atomic size is defined in terms of atomic radius because atoms are being spherical, so the size of the atoms can be compared in terms of atomic radius. So atomic radius is defined as the distance between the nucleus and the valence shell of that atom. Suppose if you consider this as an atom, now distance between the center of the atom, that means nucleus of the atom, and to the outermost shell of that atom, the distance between these two is considered as radius, radius of that atom. So as it is being the distance between the nucleus and the outermost orbit, its units or this will be generally expressed in terms of angstrom units because it is being micro quantity. Generally meters, centimeters, these all units can be used, and generally and most frequently used units are angstroms. We know 1 angstrom is equal to 10 to the power of minus 10 meters or 10 to the power of minus 8 centimeters. Okay. However, it is not possible to measure the atomic radius directly as an individual atom cannot be isolated. We are telling atomic size is defined in terms of atomic radius. This atomic radius is defined as the distance between the nucleus and the outermost orbit of an atom. But how can we calculate it? Can we isolate an atom from the group of atoms, from a substance, from an element? No, it is not possible. We cannot get an individual atom from the element because they are very, very small particles. But the internuclear distance of the bonded atoms can be measured by using techniques like X-ray diffraction or electron diffraction, and it is taken as a standard. So how do we are calculating the atomic radius? The calculation of atomic radius for an individual atom is not possible because we cannot isolate an atom from the element, being they are very small. So how can we calculate the atomic radius? By considering the intermolecular distance or internuclear distance in the compounds or molecules formed by those atoms. By calculating that the distance between the molecules, so from that atomic radius is derived. In this way, the atomic radius calculated and it is taken as standard. So how this internuclear distance is calculated? Yes, this can be calculated by using certain techniques like X-ray diffraction and electron diffraction. By these experiments, the internuclear distance can be calculated in the bonded atoms or in the molecules. By that, atomic radius is expressed or derived. So atomic radius is measured in different ways like crystal radius, covalent radius, and even van der Waals radius, etc. Because we are telling atomic radius is derived from the internuclear distance in the molecules formed by the atoms. So these molecules or compounds might be of different kinds like ionic compounds, metallic substances, even covalent compounds. In this way, in different types of substances, these atoms might be present. That is why this atomic radius is also measured in these different ways, like a crystal radius in terms of metallic substances, covalent radius in terms of covalent compounds, and even van der Waals radius in the non-bonded molecules, non-bonded atoms. In this way, in different ways, atomic radius is expressed. Now, let us see one of these here, crystal radius or metallic radius. Half of the internuclear distance between the adjacent atoms of a solid metallic crystal is called crystal radius or metallic radius. What is metallic radius? The distance or the half of the distance between the internuclear, the two nuclei of the adjacent metallic atoms. Then half of the distance is taken as a crystal radius or metallic radius, because in the metallic substances there is no bond between the metal atoms, just a force of attraction will be there, that we say metallic bond. That is why the distance between the two adjacent metallic atoms is calculated. The half of that is taken as the radius of those metallic atoms, that is called metallic radius or crystal radius. Okay. For example, the distance between the two sodium atoms is 3.72 angstroms, because here they have given the distance between the two sodium atoms, that we can say as internuclear distance in sodium. Distance between the two adjacent sodium atoms is 3.72 angstroms. Now, if it is being 3.72 angstroms, then what will be the radius? We are telling half of this distance is taken as atomic radius or metallic radius. So 3.72 by 2, that is 1.86, is considered as metallic radius or sodium atom radius. Okay, that is taken as 1.86 angstroms. That is considered as crystal radius or metallic radius. Got it? Next, covalent radius. This is considered in terms of covalent molecules. Half of the internuclear distance between the two atoms held together by covalent bond is called covalent radius. For example, if you see two molecules are mentioned here, a homonuclear diatomic molecule means homonuclear diatomic molecule means the covalent molecule formed by same kind of atoms. The internuclear distance between these two, if it is calculated, then the half of the distance is considered as covalent radius. Even though this can be calculated in heteromolecular diatomic molecules also. Suppose a molecule is formed between two atoms like A and B, then the internuclear distance, if it is calculated, the half of that, this is considered as metallic radius of that metal, or the covalent radius of that atom. Okay, this is considered as covalent radius. Okay, in the same, one more expression for, okay, here one more is given about the covalent bond form. A covalent radius, single bond covalent radii are additive in nature, means half of the internuclear distance is considered as atomic radius or in terms of covalent radius. For example, if you say in Cl2 molecule, the chlorine-chlorine bond distance is 1.98 angstroms. So covalent radius becomes half of that, that is 0.99 angstroms. Okay, that is considered as the atomic radius of chlorine atoms. But as the number of bonds between the atoms increases, bond length decreases. For example, if you see in diamond, what is diamond? It is purely made up of carbon atoms. So if you see carbon-carbon bond distance in diamond, it will be 1.54 angstroms. Hence the covalent radius will be half of that, that is 0.77 angstroms. As the number of covalent bonds between the carbon atoms increasing in this, the covalent radius decreases. So what happens, as the number of bonds increasing, the attraction between those two atoms increases, and hence they come close to each other. So that what happens, the distance between these two decreases. We can say covalent radius decreases. For example, the covalent radius of carbon atoms decreases with increase in the number of bonds between carbon atoms. For example, if you see if the carbon atoms are bonded with a single bond between them, then the bond distance or covalent radius will be 1.54 angstroms. If the carbon atoms are connected with two bonds, double bond, that is called double bond, then the bond length decreases, so that covalent radius also decreases. If you say the bond between the two carbon atoms, if it is triple bond, then carbon atoms comes some more closer to each other, and hence bond length decreases, even covalent radius also. Okay. So another expression for the atomic radius is van der Waals radius. Half of the internuclear distance between the two non-bonded atoms of different molecules which are very close to each other due to van der Waals forces is called van der Waals radius. So this radius is expressed for the non-bonded atoms. Suppose there are two molecules. If they are close to each other, one atom of one molecule and another atom of another molecule, they might have some attractions. So then between those two, we can say existence of van der Waals attractions. Then the distance between those two is considered as van der Waals distance, and half of that is considered as van der Waals radius. See here, for example, it is a molecule and it is also one more molecule. Actually, these two molecules are having no bonding at all. And when these two come close each other, the one atom of one molecule may be attracted by another one atom of another molecule. Then between these two, we can say van der Waals forces are existing. Now, if the distance between these two is calculated, the half of this distance is taken as van der Waals radius. Okay. For example, the distance between the two adjacent chlorine atoms of different chlorine molecules is 3.6. So whereas if you see in between the two chlorine atoms of a molecule of chlorine, bond distance is less. Whereas van der Waals distance is more, so bond distance will be 3.6 angstroms. So what will be the van der Waals radius now? Half of that. That is 1.8 angstroms. Okay. Van der Waals radius is greater than covalent radius because these van der Waals forces are just attractions between the non-bonded molecules, whereas covalent bond is bonded ratio. So covalent radius will be smaller than van der Waals radius. It is nearly 40% smaller than that. So it is used for molecular substances in the solid state only. These van der Waals radius are generally used for the substances which are there in the solid state. So covalent radius term is generally used in reference to non-metals. So covalent radius is generally used for non-metallic molecules. If you see the comparison between the three different radii, they are van der Waals radius, crystal radius, and covalent radius. Out of these all, covalent radius is smaller because that in that atoms are bonded one to another by sharing electrons, whereas in the crystal radius atoms are being adjacent to each other, so it is somewhat greater than the covalent radius, whereas van der Waals radius is greater than the remaining two because in these the molecules are being separate one to another, they have no bonding between them. Okay. Next, variation of atomic size. That means how does this atomic radius or atomic size varies in the groups and periods of the modern periodic table. It is that here. If you see in a period, the atomic size generally decreases from left to right along the period. Yeah, it is one of the interesting point which we have to observe. If you see in a period, elements atomic number gradually increases from left to right. So we may expect that atomic size also will be increased. But in fact, in a period from left to right, atomic size decreases. Why it is so? Let us see. This is because along a period, the electrons are added to the same energy level, which leads to an increase in the effective nuclear charge on the outermost electronic cloud, thereby decreasing the size of the atom. Did you understand the reason? So suppose if you see second period elements like this: lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine. Atomic number increases from lithium to fluorine. It is third element, it is seventh, ninth element, isn't it? So gradually atomic number increases, but atomic size decreases in a period, because if you observe for these all elements, the electrons are being added gradually in the same shell. For lithium, there are two shells, 2 comma 1 configuration. If we see beryllium, 2 comma 2. In the same way, if we see for fluorine, it is being 2 comma 7. Means only these all elements are having same number of shells or orbits, but only the number of electrons in the second shell gradually increasing. At the same time, nuclear charge also gradually increases from lithium to fluorine. We know lithium is having 3 units positive charge, isn't it? Yes, because 3 protons. And beryllium has 4 units positive charge. Whereas if you see fluorine, 9 units positive charge in the nucleus. So what we observed here, from left to right in a period, the number of electrons in the valence shell increasing, and along with that, nuclear charge also increasing in the nucleus. Positive charge also increasing in the nucleus. Thereby, the attraction between these two, that is in the outermost shell and between the nucleus, attraction increases, and hence size shrinks, or size of the atom slowly decreases. So as we move from left to right, from lithium to fluorine, size decreases because the number of electrons in the valence shell increasing and nuclear charge also increasing. Between these two, thereby nuclear charging attractive force increases, and hence size decreases. Okay, that is why we say in a period atomic size gradually decreases from left to right. But we say an exception for noble gases. In the noble gases, due to inert electronic repulsions, the size is larger than the corresponding halogens. We told just now atomic size decreases from left side to right side in a period, but it happens only till first group to seventh group. But again, by coming to eighth group, size increases a little than the halogens beside element. For example, if we say for second group element, lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, these are all elements we have seen till now. Oxygen, fluorine, neon, isn't it? Now, atomic size decreases gradually from lithium to fluorine, but it increases again to next element, that is neon, noble gas element, because we know these noble gases are having completely filled outermost shell. So because of this completely filled electronic configuration, some repulsions occurs in the outermost shell, so size of those atoms increases a little. So these eighth group elements will be having a little greater size than before element, that is halogen. Okay, now to say clearly, what can we say? Atomic size decreases in a period from left to right till halogens. Again, it increases to noble gases. But in generalized way, we say atomic radius in a period from left to right decreases. Okay. Thus, in a period, alkali metal is the largest form atom, while the halogen is the smallest atom. Yes, we can say this because here, if you observe this third period, second period itself, from here, atomic radius gradually decreasing. So this element is element with the greater size. That is alkali metal or first A group element. Alkali metals are the biggest sized atoms in any period. We are telling gradually it decreases till halogens. So this is the smallest element. So halogen is the smallest element in any period. Smallest sized atom. Got it? So this is a diagram. So if you see third period, from sodium to argon, generally size decreases. But to say clearly, size decreases from sodium to chlorine and it increases a little to argon. Now the biggest sized atom in this period is sodium. The smallest sized atom in this period is chlorine. Okay, in this way, in a period from left to right, atomic size or atomic radius decreases because of greater nuclear force of attraction on the outer electron cloud, and a little increase we can observe for noble gases, right? Now let us see in a group how this atomic radius or atomic size varies in a group. On going down the group, a new shell is being added from the element to another element. As electron is added to a shell further from the nucleus, the effective nuclear force of attraction on the valence shell decreases. Thereby, there will be in the increase in the size of the atom. See, for example, if we see first group elements, if you observe this, hydrogen has only one shell, isn't it? If you see lithium, it has two shells. Whereas sodium, if you see, it has three shells. Potassium, four shells. Rubidium, five. Cesium, six. In this way, what do we observe here? In a group, from top to bottom, the number of shells increasing from element to element. As the number of shells increase, what happens? Size of the atom automatically increases. So we can say in a group from top to bottom, atomic size or atomic radius increases. Okay. But in case of period, what we observed in a period, all the elements are having same number of shells. There is no increase in the number of shells in a period. Only the electrons in the outermost shell increasing. That is the difference here. But in a group, as we move from top to bottom, number of shells increasing from element to element. That is why size increases in a group, but it decreases in a period. So this is a generalized comparison between the atomic size and variation. In a period from left to right, atomic size gradually decreases. Of course, after coming here again, a slight increase we can observe. And in a group from top to bottom, atomic size increases because number of shells are being increased from one element to another element. A new shell is being added, hence size increases. Okay, this is about atomic size or atomic radius. So atomic size is expressed in terms of atomic radius. Now let us try to compare the sizes of the isoelectronic species. What are isoelectronic species? The species which are having same number of electrons in them are called as isoelectronic species. Among isoelectronic species, size decreases as nuclear charge increases. Let us see with an example that the decreasing order of the size of isoelectronic species is shown here. If you observe, these all contain same number of electrons in them, isn't it? We know oxygen atomic number is 8. So it should have 8 electrons, but here it is mentioned O minus 2, means it gained 2 electrons. So total number of electrons becomes now 10 in that. If you see F minus, that also in the same way. Already 9 electrons are there. As it is shown here minus F minus, it gained 1 electron. So it becomes 10 electrons in that also. Neon already it is having 10 electrons. Sodium 11, as it lost 1 it becomes 10. Similarly magnesium 10 electrons. So these all ions are neutral atoms containing same number of electrons. So these are called now isoelectronic species. Now if you compare the size of these, out of these the nuclear charge is greater for magnesium. If you observe for magnesium, what is the nuclear charge? Plus 12, because there are 12 neutrons in the nucleus. If we observe for sodium, only 11 units. For neon, 10 units charge is there in the nucleus. If you observe for oxygen, only 8 units nuclear charge. Isn't it? It is 10. And if it is considered as fluorine, only 9 units positive charge in the nucleus. So as nuclear charge increases, atomic size decreases. So out of these all, magnesium plus 2 ion is having greater nuclear charge. So it will be having lower size. If you observe for oxygen, it is having the lowest nuclear charge among these all. So hence it is having greater size. Got it? Among isoelectronic species, as nuclear charge increases, size decreases. Vice versa. Okay, you can observe here some quantities are given. If you observe these two, oxygen and fluorine, or O minus 2 and F minus. These two are isoelectronics. But if you observe, nuclear charge is greater for F minus, plus 9 units it is there. Whereas for O minus 2, only minus 8, plus 8 units. So, nuclear charge is greater for F minus. That is why it has a size is smaller. Atomic radius is small for this. And if you compare these three, Li plus, Be2 plus, B3 plus. So these three are isoelectronics, isn't it? All have two electrons in them. Now, out of these all, which is having greater nuclear charge? Be3 plus, because it has 5 units positive charge. Whereas for beryllium it is only 4 units. And for lithium it is 3 units. So, as nuclear charge increasing, atomic size decreasing. So Be plus 3 has greater, smaller size. Whereas Li plus is having greater size. Okay, did you understand this comparison? Out among the isoelectronic species, the species which is having greater nuclear charge will have lowest size. Okay, next. Comparison of size of the anion or cation with the parent atom. We know anions are formed by the gain of electrons. We say they are negative ions. If neutral atoms are parent atom, they lose electrons. Then they form positive ions which are called cations. So how the size varies when they form anions and cations? The size of the anion will be greater than that of its parent atom. And the size of the cation will be smaller than that of its parent atom. For example, if you see size of F minus means it is gaining one electron. To accommodate an electron, size should be a little increased. That's why F minus is having greater size than neutral fluorine atom. In the same way, Na plus is having smaller size than neutral Na atom because sodium ion has less number of electrons. So nuclear charge will be 11 units, number of electrons will be only 10. So between these two attraction increases, hence size decreases. So positive ions will be having smaller size than neutral atom, whereas negative ions, that is anions, will be having greater size than neutral atoms or parent atoms. Cations are always smaller than neutral atom, whereas anions are always larger than neutral atom or parent atom. Okay, this is about atomic radius or atomic size of the atoms and the trending of atomic radius in the groups and periods. Right? Thank you for watching our video. Please subscribe our YouTube channel AIMS Today for latest updates and recorded videos.